Well, we are starting this evening with the God of the Cincinnati community. Randy Hermes is going to be coming to our stage. He's got a tale for us. I don't know if he's sticking to our formerly assigned theme of rescued, or if he went with the new no theme and is going completely off book on his own trail. I don't know. That's what's exciting, is I don't really ask for what the stories are ahead of time. Just like in motorcycling, you don't know what's ahead of you, and that's kind of how I run these storytelling events. So I'm here learning what the stories are, just like you are. Please welcome Randy Hermes. He is a second-generation motorcycle racer and a lifetime storyteller. Please welcome him to the stage.
As I was getting ready tonight for this, and I'm looking through my vast selection of event t-shirts, this one jumped out at me. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but this is, of course, a Look Twice t-shirt, and I just wanted to take a minute to remember our friends that deserved a better fate and are gone too soon, and that would, of course, be Scott Griffith and Alicia David. So, I have to admit, when Season first put this up and approached me about speaking, I had a lot of consternation about the subject. As a lifetime professional mechanic, a man, and a bit of a MacGyver type, I'm not real big on telling people about being rescued. It's just something that has a stigma to me that not particularly good. But it was good because it forced me to think back through my experiences and find a couple times when I, even today, am truly grateful for the rescue I received. So I've actually got two stories for us tonight. Quick background on me. I was very fortunate to be born into a family who their primary hobby was motorcycles. Not just motorcycles, but motorcycle racing. My dad raced Triumphs and Enduros all the way back to the late 50s. And had friends started some stuff they were calling scrambles, which eventually became motocross. Our whole family was involved in promoting races. We had a club, Northern Kentucky Motorcycle Club, which were all our friends and neighbors. And we would actually promote races. I started motocrossing in '71 and raced about every weekend after that with my dad. We shared a bike. I rode under 16. He rode the regular class. In 1980, I took a job at Stu Fine's. Anybody remember Stu Fine's in Montgomery? Took a job at Stu Fine's. In fact, I worked at most all the local dealerships here in the 70s and 80s. Most of them 2 or 3 times. I was the personification of the old joke, why do mechanics have wheels on toolboxes? In 1980, we had one of our vendors approach us about road racing. And an old motocrosser, I thought, hey, I'm game, I'll try that. And we went and out to St. Louis, Mid-America Raceway, beautiful track, rivals Mid-Ohio, and how beautiful it was. It's now houses, of course. We went, we rode, we had fun, we loved it, but we weren't getting enough track time. So we decided to look at the endurance race. The endurance race was the way to go because the shortest endurance race was 4 hours. That means 2 guys got 2 one-hour stints apiece, and that's what a bunch of clueless hillbillies needed to figure out what they were doing. In 1981, we decided to take it a little more serious. So we were going after the lightweight production class. And in 81, they had a race at a track called Bridgehampton. Has anybody ever heard of Bridgehampton? Bridgehampton was a very historic track. Mario Andretti's first professional race was at Bridgehampton. Absolutely beautiful historical place. So we loaded up the van, had 5 of us, me and another rider, Kurt Fernberg, and my then wife, and 2 girls from the parts counter who were just bored and wanted to get the hell out of town. So we took off, and trip went really smooth. we got up to New York right outside of town, and we kind of got the feeling that we weren't in Kansas anymore. We pulled into a gas station, everybody gets out and they're walking around, stretching their legs, and a young man walks up to us and says simply, "Hey, you're not gonna rob me, are you? If you're gonna rob me, I gotta go get my dad." so we knew we weren't in the Midwest anymore. I know what my mistake was. My mistake was I made a left off the Verzano instead of making a right. And by making this left turn off the Verzano, we went across the bridge, blinked our eye, and we were in downtown Manhattan. Lost. So let me paint the picture for you. We're in a really ratty old Chevy van. I mean, rust holes, windows falling out of it, really ratty old Chevy van. Kentucky plates, which doesn't help. Pulling a race bike. And we are absolutely screwed because we need to get to the track so we can get a couple hours sleep before the gate opens in the morning. So we figure out that we are really, really lost. And now the traffic is stop and go, so we can't even really go anywhere. And we're crawling along, we got maps, and we're flailing around, just freaking out. And just so happened that we stopped next to a row of cabbies. And there's one cabbie sitting out on the fender, and I can see him. He looks at us, starts shaking his head and chuckling. And he yells at Fernberg, my passengers, "Where are you trying to go?" And we yell back at him, "Hey, Long Island, Bridgehampton, Long Island." And without a hesitation, cabbie jumps up, gets in his car, says, "Follow me." We were agog, but sure as hell we jumped in behind him. He took us through the longest tunnel I've ever been through in my life and across 2 more bridges. But pretty soon, there is the signs for Long Island Freeway. Yay, we are saved. We are absolutely saved. And we get onto the track and sleep at the gate and have just a wonderful weekend. Long Island, or Bridgehampton rather, is no longer a viable racetrack. It's now houses also. So we were really fortunate to get to spend a weekend at that track before it shut down. And it was actually a beautiful place. My wife was scoring, and she was talking about being in the scoring tower in the first stint, and as the fog rises and disappears, she realizes, wow, we're on, there's mainland over here, there's water in between us, and we're out on an island. You know, that was a strange thing for a bunch of people from the Midwest. And of course, the New England guys kicked our ass. Those guys are good. But it gives us the opportunity. Anybody ever heard of Team Hammer? Mm-hmm. This was Team Hammer's first race. So we got to meet John and Bruce Hammer, and that was an experience. But if anybody ever talks about New Yorkers not being friendly, not being good people, I got a story to shut them up. My second story is in 1982. In 1982, we decided to get real serious about it. So we jumped up to heavyweight production and we expanded our group. We knew that the only way we were going to score high at the end of the year is if we went to every race and finished every race east of the Mississippi we could get to. So we expanded our group into more people and more bikes. Now we got more people, now we got 3 bikes. So if I raced this month, some other group is going to go race next month, and another group the next month, so we had it all well covered. 1982, there were actually 3 24-hour events. I feel fortunate to have got to race with my teammates in all 3. Texas World, Nelson Ledges, and Rockingham. Getting ready for Texas World, that was the first 24-hour coming up on the schedule. Myself and my buddy, Big Mike, Big Boar we used to call him, Mike McKinley, built a top end for a motor, and it was done, honestly, too rapidly and too late at night. But we got it done. Built the bike, loaded it in the van. So we had 6 people. 24-hour takes more people. We had 6 people, all our equipment for the 24-hour, and the race bike all inside this one van. So it was a pretty crowded house to begin with. Made it to Texas just fine. Slept by the gate, which we typically did. When we got to Texas World, I couldn't get to sleep, so I was up walking around. And there was the biggest motorhome I'd ever seen in my life. And of course, it had Texas plates on it and big trailer behind it. And I got to talking with the owner. And he was telling me, yeah, my boy, he's been doing this motocross thing, but he thinks he might want to try this road racing thing. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. What's your boy's name? Steve Weiss. For those of you who don't know, Steve Weiss was a factory Honda rider for a lot of years. And he ended up doing a little bit of sprint racing, but not much. So once we got inside the next morning, unloaded, took our bike through tech. Everything's going smooth. Got my gear on, got ready for practice, went out for practice. Everything's fine, no worries. David Hobbs coined the phrase the best when he was covering Formula One racing, and that is Kerblamo. And that simply means that some catastrophic engine failure occurred, and I came coasting to the edge of the track. So now, as I take that long, sad, lonely push back to the pit area, get back into the pits, and I've got to tell my friends, hey man, I'm sorry, I think I know what happened, and it's ugly, it's bad, we're done for the weekend. We verify it, and sure enough, cam chain broke, valves bent, blah, it's bad, it is bad. So I'm kind of telling everybody how sorry I am, how I wasted the weekend and all that, and this is pretty much true. Then we actually had a 4th rider who was gonna come ride the bike. Let me explain a little bit about him. His name was Paul Primo. Paul was what you call a French Louisiane. So Paul shows up, he had just got married the week before, and him and his wife flew into the race to meet us. So I'm telling him the sad news, that dude, I'm sorry, we wasted your time, wasted your money, we're done. And Paul had a crazy look in his eye, but that was pretty standard for Paul. That really wasn't that unusual. He looks at me and says, we're not done. And I thought, yeah, okay, right. Paul and his wife disappear. We're kind of moping around the pits, you know, we got a lot of time to kill now. We ain't going racing, so we got plenty of time to kill, and we're moping around and doing this and that. And about an hour and a half later, Paul comes riding back into the track on a brand new GPZ 750 motorcycle. So now we've got this brand new bike, but it's not prepped for racing. So now we got to do the thrash, get the wheels off, get the brakes off, get the safety wire and stuff off, and we're thrashing, trying to get this bike put together, and it's going pretty well. And we look like we're getting fairly close, so I started getting my gear back on, getting ready to go out, and I just took a minute to look and watch, and I'm thinking, who the hell are all these people working on our bike? About half the people working on it I didn't even recognize. Ends up the word had gotten around the pits that we went into town and bought a brand new bike. So now we got all the guys from tech inspection, all the big monkey muck from Dunlop Tires is over there helping us change tires on our race bike, which was really a big help because now when we were done, we didn't have to go through tech. we were ready to go, you know. So we do get it together and get in the event. Unfortunately, the Texans kicked our ass. Them Texas boys are tough too, let me tell you. And what I had found out was Paul went into town, and like I say, him and his new wife had a new credit card. And that ended up being our new bike. So I'm eternally grateful for Paul and Tony, his wife, to save our weekend. They absolutely saved our weekend. We did not race the 24-hour of Texas World, but we did race the 23.5-hour of Texas World. And that's kind of not the end of the story, because after the race, we're having beers and champagne and having a good time, and then the reality sets in. We got another bike to somehow get back to Cincinnati, and we were really tight. We were really tight on the way down. So we manage it. We get it in there, and we shoehorn everything in there. And then the guy that owns the van, Joe Culbertson, informs us, oh, by the way, we're stopping at Dallas to pick up my girlfriend and her luggage. So now we've got another person and about 5 pieces of luggage because he's moving back to Cincinnati. But we managed. It was fine. It was fun. And they say what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger.
I think Randy's stories highlight what we really see most in the motorcycle world, which is just that crazy sense of community that we all have, right? I mean, some taxi guy in New York is like, yeah, hey, I see you got a motorcycle. Let me help you. You're like, okay, no problem. I mean, that stuff happens all the time. Who here has just pulled up somewhere randomly and had someone be like, hey, yo, motorcycle? Tell me, right? And that's just what I find most incredible, is you can be in New York, you can be in Texas, it doesn't matter where you are, people come together to help each other around motorcycles, and it's fantastic. Randy, thank you for your stories. I'm so glad you got rescued those 2 times, because you got to tell those stories here. So one more time for Randy, thank you so much.